Hey there, Flat Picker. Today I have a new bit of gear that I would love to share with you. My friends over at Schertler and I were talking, and it's been a while since I've tried out a magnetic acoustic guitar pickup. So I was really delighted to find out that Schertler has the AG6, this little black, sleek looking thing that's in my Henderson guitar right now. And it's kind of an interesting system that is really unique compared to other magnetic acoustic guitar pickups that are out there. So today I'm going to be giving you a demo of this pickup through my Schertler Jam amplifier, which is being recorded direct into Logic Pro right now. And we're going to see what kind of tones this thing can generate and how you might be able to use one of these in your own setup. So the AG6 is unique in that it can be permanently installed in your guitar by drilling in through the strap button here and installing a 1/4-inch jack, or you can go for what I actually opted for. There are no cables inside the guitar right now, and this pickup is fully removable. It has some neat little wheels that you can see here from the picture on screen. And I've actually just got an extension cable that you can purchase separately from this pickup. So there's a 3.5mm jack that you can plug into right here. And then you've got an external 1/4-inch out, and you can do whatever you want with this. I usually tuck it under my guitar and then up through my strap just to kind of secure it there, and then the cable's out of the way. So that's kind of the setup that I prefer. But the other installation method that we have from Schertler here is the permanent solution. And they do send you a jack that looks pretty similar to this one, only it has no sheath around the outside of it right here. But just like the extension cable that I got, you can plug it in 3.5mm and then use the AG6 that way. So you've got a couple options for installation. I didn't want to like drill into my brand new fancy Henderson guitar and all that kind of stuff, so I really enjoyed the fact that they have an external non-modification option for your instrument, something you might be interested in. So we're here looking at the Schertler website, and I would highly suggest going to check it out because they have a lot of information on their products here. But the way that Schertler describes it, the Magnetico AG6 is a compact, lightweight pickup for acoustic guitar designed to fit inside the instrument's sound hole. Has a master volume control, which is located over here, and then there is a volume control for a separate external input. You guys can see that there are two 3.5mm jacks that are on this pickup. One of them is for our cable that goes to our amplifier, like we were just talking about, the output jack, right? And then the other 3.5mm jack is for a couple different accessories, and you might have already noticed that there's a little accessory plugged into mine right now. This is... So that external 3.5mm jack on the AG6 can use a couple different products that Schertler makes as accessories to buy with the Magnetico system. The first one is one that I immediately wanted to buy for this pickup system because this, my friend, is the S mic, the Schertler S mic. This is a mini condenser that you plug into the Magnetico pickup. So it adds a little bit of natural sound from inside the guitar's cavity. So essentially what we're doing is making our own blender system here where we've got a little bit of microphone sound that we can blend in with that magnetic pickup. Personally, I think this is the best option to go with a magnetic pickup because traditionally they don't sound exactly like an acoustic guitar, and this gives you some of that kind of snap and articulation that we're used to hearing from an acoustic guitar pickup system. So to install this, we just plug it into the 3.5mm jack, and hopefully we don't drop it in our guitar. Perfect. Easy installation. So the top wheel here, if you're looking at the picture, the top wheel is the master volume, and then the one next to it is the external inputs volume. One more accessory that you could choose to plug into this is the Dyne AG6. So if we're looking at the Dyne AG6 on Schertler's website, this is just a little contact microphone similar to the Dyne series microphones like the Dyne G and the Dyne MP48 series of pickups. But this one can plug directly into the AG6. So if you're more into like a percussive style of guitar where you want some of those sounds coming through, that would be a great option as an external input to the AG6. Personally, I like to use the AG6 with the S mic and a Schertler Dyne G pickup in combination. So that's a lot of cables coming off of your guitar, but I promise you that the sound is amazing. That's my favorite combo that I've found so far. But if you want to skip that step, you're not really hot on the S mic, you can totally get an Dyne AG6 for your Magnetico pickup as well. So let's go back to the setup that I'm working with here today. We've got the S mic, like I was talking about a little while ago. And this is a really cool little feature that I love to blend in. So So there's a view of the S mic for you, kind of detailed and close up. I really think this is an amazing feature to add to this pickup system. Makes the magnetic pickup sound a lot more natural. So there you have it for some of the kind of general tech specs for this kind of thing. If we go back to the AG6 here, we can look at the full list of technical specifications. 0 to 40 kilohertz response range, 68 dB dynamic range. Oh, and I forgot to mention that it does take a 2032 battery. So they say that 120 playing hours is what you'll roughly get out of that. The battery is just located kind of underneath of the microphone. You can kind of see it in your sound hole. I would recommend loosening the strings, removing the pickup, and changing the battery. That way you could probably do it while it's sitting in the guitar, but I wouldn't recommend that after having installed this thing myself. You can also see here that they offer the AG6 in a couple of different kind of finishes. So if you want one that matches your guitar, they've got like a rosewood type of finish or a lighter. I wonder if that's maple or something. I went with the black because looks classy to me. So there you have it, some of the general tech specs for the AG6. Now, I've already installed this pickup. I'm not going to show you how to install it, but I promise it's super easy. You can even do it with the strings on. You just want to loosen all of them to where you can fit your hand in there. I slid the pickup underneath of the strings, set it upright, and then there are these kind of wheels that you could see from the pictures that have little clamping arms that attach to the edge of the sound hole right here. They've got really soft rubber pads on them so you won't damage the instrument, and you can feel when you're starting to get pretty tight. You know, you don't want to over tighten because that might damage the wood, put some imprints and indents in there. But super easy installation, and like I said, for someone who will eventually want to take this back out and record it acoustically or something like that, it's a great option to have that as a removable pickup. There you have it. All of the tech jargon and everything like that, but let's go ahead and get to some sounds on this thing. So I'm going to head over here to Logic Pro. We have this set to record, and we're going to go. So with this pickup, I am going to plug it in. First, we are going to turn the S mic all the way down, so we're just hearing the Magnetico pickup, the AG6 by itself here. Going to plug this into my Jam amplifier. So just to give you an idea of what individual note quality sounds like this thing, I'm just going to play some scales up and down just to give you an idea of what this sounds like out of the box with individual notes. See that with some open strings. G major. Up the neck. Maybe a C major scale. So now that you've got an idea of individual notes, let's hear a melody on this thing. So there's a little bit of big Sciota for you on just the dry signal going straight into my Jam amplifier. The EQ is pretty well set to flat on this one, just to give you an idea. Like I said, straight out of the box, playing an OM size guitar, which a lot of you out there play. So there you have it, single notes. Let's see how this thing sounds with some rhythm guitar though. So there's a little bit of bluegrass rhythm for you, maybe a little bit of finger picking or hybrid picking. Cool, so there's some rhythm sounds and some up the neck sounds for you. Just the dry pickup. Master volume is all the way up on this thing, so you've got the kind of plain vanilla out of the box sound for this. Let's go over to the amp and add a little bit of reverb to it. I think that adds a completely new kind of dimension to the sound of this pickup. So let's check it out. So there it is, out of the box, no alterations, EQ flat with a little bit of reverb on it. Now, let's add the secret weapon to this thing. I'm gonna start to roll up the S mic, okay? Now, one thing that I was even told from Schertler beforehand, if you run the S mic wide open on this system, you will 100% get feedback. That may be a little bit of a disadvantage because you might not be able to get enough of that microphone sound in there to your liking, but in my experimentations with this, I've found that I'm only about at 80% volume where it starts to feed back. So you still get, 4/5 of the volume capacity on your microphone. I wouldn't recommend turning it up to full tilt. So here we go. I'm gonna do maybe some strumming and some single notes at various points as I blend this microphone in. So here it is flat again. So chords. So that's just the AG6, no S mic. I've turned it up to about where 1 would be if we're thinking about on the potentiometer here, so. There's about 1 more click. At this point, you're probably starting to notice some really stark differences in sound, I would hope. Up a little more. All right, and here we have maxed it out. So this is what it sounds like. I'm in a controlled environment, so this is what it sounds like maxed out in a controlled environment where it will not feed back. Now I'm gonna put it back to where I normally kind of like to set this microphone. Sprinkle a bit more reverb back in there. So that right there is specifically where I set the AG6 for my own personal liking. But like I said, I actually prefer to pair this AG6 plus the S mic with my Schertler Dyne G. To me, I get a really natural, snappy, punchy, flat picky kind of sound out of that combination, and I really love it. You've probably already noticed that this magnetic pickup sounds like drastically different than what a normal acoustic guitar pickup system would sound like, right? So you've got piezo pickups, you've got contact microphone systems like the K&K, you've got the contact microphones like Schertler makes where you stick it on every time you play, and then you've got stuff like the magnetic pickups, right? You've got Fishman Rare Earth and whatnot. And I think the Schertler is really a heavy hitter in that magnetic pickup side of the market. I know that it's not the sound that everyone wants to go for, but I personally find a lot of versatility out of this, especially when I'm not just doing flat pick gigs, but when I do swing as well. So I want to give you a bit of a kind of like demo of some swing chords that I would play, and then maybe some leads and stuff like that. So there you've got a little bit of swing on there, and to me that sounds like some of the magnetic pickups that you would hear in early swing music, you know, so I really dig that sound, especially with a little bit of reverb on it. Now, just for giggles and just to show you guys what I've been up to in crafting my own sound with Schertler products, I've got my Dyne G pickup that I'm going to stick on the guitar here really quick, and then I'll show you what those two things sound like paired through the Schertler Jam amplifier, which I am totally in love with, by the way. Schertler has not paid me to say any of this or anything like that. They did send me this gear. They did send me the Dyne pickups for free, but I actually paid for the AG6 with my own money. I paid for the Jam amp with my own money because I really love their stuff. Schertler is doing great work. So there it is, the Schertler Dyne G P48 pickup. The way that you install this, which I love every time, is with some putty. That is not bad for your instrument at all. I've used it plenty of times. It's never left a mark on my finish. You know, you might have to scrape a little bit of gunk off afterwards or something, but it comes off real easy with your finger, especially if you've got a ball of this putty to kind of help take it off the top of the guitar, too. So, good job, Schertler. I always found their pickups to be some of the most unique just because of this kind of installation. And if you're a hands-on type of person, you might kind of get a kick out of it. I like to place mine right behind the treble side of the bridge. So this does require some phantom power. I'm going to turn that on my amp. So just to show you what we're working with here, I've turned the AG6 all the way down. So that's what the Dyne G sounds like by itself. Such a natural sound for something that you stick on the top of your guitar. I was so blown away the first time this happened. Because it's not your traditional microphone in front of the guitar kind of thing, right? But the physics work the same. Crazy. So now, gonna add that AG6 back in. I usually like to keep my Dyne G, so this one right here, I keep that at about 1 o'clock on the volume dial. And then my AG6 is usually at about 11, so I take a little bit less of the pickup than I do the Dyne G. So this is what that sounds like. So here we have it, the Schertler AG6 with S mic paired with the Schertler Dyne G. Well, there you have it, music maker. Some sounds from the Schertler line of products, mainly focusing on the AG6 magnetic pickup here today. It's a really versatile system by itself, but you can see paired with Schertler's other products, you have a ton of tonal possibilities, and I would urge you to explore some of their products at the link below in description. Just want to give a huge shout out and thanks again to the folks at Schertler, especially Drago and Thomas. You guys are really awesome. Thank you so much for hooking me up with this gear and allowing me to demo your products on YouTube. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit me up in the comments section below. And I'm curious to hear, do you have any experience with acoustic guitar magnetic pickups? There are a lot of different systems out there, and I'd be curious to know if the magnetic systems are something that you yourself have landed on for your personal sound. Alrighty, music maker, there you have it for today, but don't go anywhere, all right? We got more great content right here.